Hello there guys, it's Joey. Welcome back to Working Witch, the series in which we look at spells and recipes and physically doing witchcraft together, hence Working Witch. So, a couple of things before I get into this particular working, which is seeking your true love spell. So firstly, it's been sort of requested a few times that I talk about, a love spell to help bring one's true love into one's life. So technically speaking, this is a requested video. I've had more than one request to do it, so there's that. Secondly, I almost didn't make this video today. I had it all set up from first thing this morning ready and allowing the altar space to infuse with the energy of love. And then we had the tragedy that's happened today. And I ummed and ahed about recording the video today in light of that because I didn't want to make light of tragedy in the world. And I sat and really thought about it, and I thought, the only real answer to hate in the world is love, is to focus on the love of the world and drawing more love to oneself and emanating more love. And whilst this is a love spell to bring your true love to you, it still radiates a positive vibration of love, and I think that's something the world sorely needs more of. So in the end I decided to just go ahead and video this particular spell, but I am going to say, right up before we even do this video, that I considered not doing it today, and that's why I've decided to go ahead and complete the requested video. So this particular spell setup is for seeking your true love, bringing your true love to you. The design of this particular love altar space, love spell space, is non-specific. However, I am not getting into any arguments about specific versus non-specific love spells. That is entirely up to the morality of the spellcaster, and that is what you do is up to you and where you draw the line in your own mind. So, this particular love calling, the verse that I'm going to read to you, that you hopefully can see, it looks a little bit glary on my camera, but it usually disappears once it goes through the editing process, is something actually that I dreamt, and it was very much a vow, like a hand fasting style vow, and I thought it was absolutely incredibly beautiful, and I had to get up and write it down as quickly as I could, and it really resonated with me. And seeing as I've had a couple of requests, I thought, this is how I would set up a love space. Now you can set up a little altar, little spell working area, and you can have that as a semi-permanent thing, particularly if bringing your love of your life, bringing love into your life is something which you are very focused on, if it's something that's deeply missing from your life. So having a semi-permanent altar space that you can basically feed, you're basically feeding the spell, and I'll talk about how to do that in a minute. But you're sort of giving it a constant presence within your physical space, your emotional space, and therefore your magical space, because you're creating the spell work around this emotional need, and it is indicating to the universe that you are ready for love. So the setup of this particular love altar, love spell for seeking one's true love, seeking one's twin flame, seeking one's soulmate, however you wish to address it, or just, bringing new love into your life, or bringing your love back to you, or anything like that, goes as thus. We have roses for obvious reasons. Roses are stereotypical when it comes to love spells. However, I think there's a lot more than usually goes into the sort of concept of roses. Now, There is a little bit of colour magic going on here, and you can see we have a variation. We have white and red. Now, white is for the friendship element, the innocent element, the gentle element, and that is the connection on a friendship level as well as a passion level, because I think personally you need both of those things. You need someone who is your friend as well as your lover, because if you have just one and not the other, it's not a good balance. It doesn't draw in the right kind of love to you. And so I have dried out red roses here, and I have dried out white roses here, and there's a mixture of numerology going on in here for a reason. So on the outside here and here we have 2 white roses, and these have the stems, and I've dried them out very purposefully. The leaves are included, the thorns are included. It's all very specifically included here, because love and finding your true love is about the whole package. It's not just about the pretty flower bits. It's about the leaves that shelter and bring in nourishments. It's about the thorns that prick and hurt sometimes. It's about the stems which root us and ground us in a relationship which is all things and is not just sexual. It's not just passion. It's not just one thing and not the other. So having the 2 full roses there is synonymous with having 2 people within the relationship. I'm not really going to get into any other arrangements. I mean, that's how I do it, and with it just being 2 people. So adjust if you need to, but that's how I feel about it. Yeah, you either love me wholly or not at all. I'm a little bit of an all or nothing Virgo, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your feelings on it, but there you go. And there is actually another white rose here within the inner circle, and that's because it brings those energies into the inner circle, into the inner spell work, and the inner spell work here represents the spell. So the 2 roses here are representative of people, and people are all things, you know, the bloom and the leaf and the thorn. So I liked that imagery. And then the crystal board is actually the inner spell working represented within the spell work, and I have the white rose here for that more innocent and friendship energy within. We have the big dark red rose for the passion. The passion needs to be there. I don't know why I have gone French. Apparently apparently passion is French. Basically I just want Gomez and Morticia. That's the ideal relationship as far as I would be concerned. And anyway, and we have a few petals just placed lightly on, a few individual petals, so it's not a whole. And then we have 2 rose buds here, and the buds therefore become synonymous with the beginning of the relationship, the budding, the moment of birth, the moment of opening up, the moment of contact, the moment things start again. And we have a rose quartz, a big chunky rose quartz right here. I have a ruby right here, and then I have 2 garnets here, and then I have the Lover's Tarot card from the Prisma Visions Tarot by James R. Eads. I really like his Lover's card, and I'm going to talk about the imagery of that, why I chose that rather than my favourite Wild Unknown, in a minute. Then I have the verse, which is of my own design, if you like. It came to me through dream. It's very personal to me, and I had a very strong feeling to record it. So I will read that to you in a minute when we finish discussing the setup and the where to's and the why fours. And then I have a pink candle burning there. You could go with red, but I kind of liked having that element of the pink candle for love to balance out the amount of red that's available in this spell setup. So as I mentioned, and I'll talk about the crystals and then the imagery, and then we will talk about how you do this spell. So numerologically speaking, that's a mouthful, we have a mixture here of 2 and 1. And I think that's fairly obvious, as any Spice Girls fan will tell you. That's going back some, that's showing my age. 2 become 1, in case anybody is like, what are you talking about, you old person? And it's the coming together of 2 peoples, 2 minds, 2 bodies, 2 souls. It's not to lose oneself within someone else, because that's not healthy, but it is the coming together of 2 people, a union, a joining, a bond. And I like having that mixture of 2 and 1, because the people within this spell are still 2 whole individuals, and I think it's really important, and a really important lesson, to realise that we are whole. You don't need somebody else to complete you. You already are whole. And I really like the Sex and the City quote, actually, which is, you know, you need someone just as wild to run with. And it's not about losing oneself, and it's not about the dominant one and the submissive one in a relationship. When a relationship is healthy, there is an equal footing, there's give and take, and there is a sharing of life, of love, of sex, of conversation, of emotion, and so on and so forth. So I like that imagery of the numerology of 2 and 1. And 2, of course, is a number of beginnings, of taking the first steps, of opening the door. And that's what this is very much about, the opening of door to love, to call one's true love to oneself. 1 is perhaps even the moment of rebirth, perhaps. And I think it gives it a kind of strength, and it gives it a kind of purpose, that you know that you are one. It's not just about 2 people coming together as one, but it's also about respecting and loving yourself, to say, you know, I love and respect myself enough to know that I deserve love of this calibre in my life. And I think that's something that's really overlooked quite frequently, and it's really important in love spell work. So then we have rose quartz, ruby and garnet. Now rose quartz is fairly self-explanatory, it's the love stone. However, it is the fluffy love stone, and it is quite gentle, kind of soft, kind of a beginner crystal for the most part. That isn't to say that you should neglect it, though, because I think a lot of people think, you know, that they start neglecting certain crystals just because they are considered beginner crystals or easily accessed crystals or whatever. But rose quartz I always describe as the cat purring, because that's the kind of energy that it gives. It's very soothing and calming and sweet almost, but it's definitely a love drawer. And I have raw rose quartz. Try saying that 10 times fast, because I prefer it in its raw state. Actually, I really do prefer a lot of crystals in their raw state. The older I get, the more I prefer the raw crystal, but particularly with rose quartz, it gives it a tiny, and I mean a tiny bit more bite than in how I really sit there and feel, because I think it really has a little bit more of its raw essence and love drawing ability. So we just have one big chunky one for the essence of love within our circle, and it is a circle of love casting, spell casting. Then we have 2 garnets, either side, and they're both raw as well. Now a raw garnet is the sexiest of sexy sex stones. Yes sirree, because you need the passion, you need the connection, you need the physical. It needs to connect on that level. Also, there are 2 of them to represent the 2 sexual drives of the 2 individuals involved, because again, it needs to be a coming together on an equal footing. Equality in a sexual sense is very important. So there is 2, and the garnet also adds the passion to the spell, as well as to obviously the love that you are calling forth to you. Ruby does that too. Ruby is a very sexy stone as well, and there's kind of one in the middle because it kind of balances that rose quartz right there. So that is the coming together of the gentler love, the sweeter love, and the vavavoom sexual lustful side of love, covering all our bases basically. And in the center is the Lover's card, as I mentioned, from the Prisma Visions, and I really do enjoy this particular card. Now I'm going to zoom in a little. There you go. I like the idea of the coming together of lovers as a dance, darling. And it's very illuminated. You can hopefully see here there are these lovely lights, and it's a masquerade, and they've got these crow masks on, so of course that just speaks to me leaps and bounds, because that's in the realm of Morrigan-esque magic. It's also to do with crow imagery, seeing past, present and future, which ties into this particular spell very well, as you will hear when we read the affirmation, if you like, the spell, if you like. It's also to do with revealing layers of oneself, how the Lovers becomes a dance, and it can be a lifelong dance, or it can be a short dance. I mean, it's all dependent on really what you are personally seeking, but it is very much about the different steps, the way we interact, the way we move, the way we encircle one another. And the masks element of this is because it's a unmasking, and you get to know the true person over X amount of time. And I like that imagery. I like how it becomes encircling one another, dancing with one another, learning to work with one another within the style of dance, learning the steps, if you like. And I really do enjoy that imagery within this particular tarot card, so that's why I chose it. The colours are a little bit more appropriate than the Wild Unknown for this particular one. The Wild Unknown has geese who mate for life, but within the rest of this particular setup, I felt that this card worked better. So there you have it. This is how you set up a love spell altar, or an altar for drawing, attracting love. You can call forth the energies of each particular element as you create this, and you're basically, as you are creating your spell setup, your spell altar, you have it in your mind the whole time that you want to be drawing love to you. I want love to come to me. You're calling on the energies of the rose, the spirit, the deva of the rose, as you are placing. You're calling upon the spirit and energies of the crystals as you're placing them down, and depending on how you're feeling about it, you're either programming or requesting the aid of each of these particular energies. So you can it can be as simple as, you know, rose quartz for love, and garnets for the sex, and all that. But generally speaking, you want to make sure that you have a very clear idea of what each component is within this particular spell setup, and each placing of each particular energy becomes very ritualistic. So each placement is very specific, and it becomes part and parcel of the spell overall. Then on your pink candle, I mean, you can go for 2 candles here. I decided on one. You write the petition, bring my love to me, and you write it on the candle towards you. So you are bringing love towards you. You then may wish to anoint the candle with a spell oil of your choice, and you're filling that energy as you're doing it. You anoint the candle towards you again, so you are top down, so you are bringing love to you, and you're visualizing it, and you're putting all your energy into it, and you're imagining that candle is brightening and glowing with your energy, and really understanding and knowing that that is in place and that intention is there. And once you light that wick, it's going to release that energy into the universe and do its thing. Right, so I just need to plug the camera in, so that's going to be a edit. One moment. Right, sorry about that. So then I'm going to talk actually about feeding your spell, or feeding your altar, before I go ahead and read the affirmation, the vow. So you can do this in many different ways. You can bring different candles in per day, and if you have one sort of at this size, they burn down within an hour or two, and that keeps the energy going. You're refreshing, you're bringing it in, you are focusing on your outcome. You might do this by lighting an incense each day, so you're bringing that scent and that aromatherapy and that magic and that intention, and then you are sitting with this energy and focusing on the outcome. You might read the affirmation each day as you light the candle and light the incense. It really is up to you how you feed the particular spell, but love spells such as bringing your love to you are good to do over a few days, and really focus on the most positive outcome. You visualize what you want to happen, you visualize being happy, you visualize being in love, and so on and so forth. Okay, so once you've lit your candle, you've lit your incense, you have a very strong visualization of what you want to happen. You may visualize two people coming together, the holding of hands, the sort of hand fasting, crossing over of hands, and love in that sense. Then I'm going to read to you this affirmation, this holy vow, if you like, that came to me, and it really is beautiful, and it really means a lot to me, so I've decided to share it. Okay. Every breath has brought us to this place. It is sacred. I honour it, this bond of knowing one another. I will find you. I will always find you in this lifetime and the next. When there is no light, you will hear the beating of my heart drumming in the silence, guiding you home. Many blessings.